Okay, this is Mike Merlin Means with what's left of Merlin Public Media. And tonight we've got another episode of Talking Shit with Merlin. And with me tonight is...
Hi, everybody. I'm Teresa Deller.
Hi, Teresa. What's happening?
It's a wonderful day in Needles, California, and I'm ready to talk shit, honey.
Where are you?
I'm actually at the KOA Needles Campground.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I saw
Yep.
the map and stuff in the background. I'm like, where's she at? But okay.
Yeah, they've got a whole great big 66 map on the wall.
Oh, cool. So what's going on?
Yeah,
What's new? What's exciting?
what's exciting? Oh my gosh, if you are in the tri-state area, it is extremely exciting with all the stuff that's happening around here. Oh my gosh, all the new dispensaries, all the new deals. I mean, we have competition now like never before. Not only that, but we also have all kinds of really good stuff happening in the community. A lot of churches helping others get food and clothing and stuff that they need. We really do have a wonderful tri-state community. We really do.
Needles is fast becoming, if it isn't already, like the weed capital of the tri-state.
But I don't know. Debbie's changing over to jars now. Might change things for the Arizona side.
Well, my only problem with Debbie's was never a quality issue, but it was always a price issue. They were a little steep.
Yeah, I agree with that. We went in one time and I turned around and walked back out.
I wasn't going to say that, but yep, that's what we did too. It's like, oh no, you've got to be joking. Bye.
Yeah, that's pretty much what happened down in Lake Havasu also. Went to, I forget what the place is, Harvest or something like that down in Havasu. Oh my gosh, I walked in and I told the dude straight up how much I had. And I said, this is it. I have no more than that. That's it. Oh, no problem. I'll hook you up. Everything matches and everything, not a problem. So when he rang up the bill, I told him $100 and it rang up to 170. And I looked at him and I said, nope, you know what? You can keep it all.
Yeah, see you later. Bye. Mm-hmm. Well, that's the cost of doing business. So
yeah,
you are not personally growing, but you have friends that are.
yes. My best buddy, Teresa, is growing for both of us. And we've been gifted with seeds and I bought some. There's quite a few really, really good, reputable seed people out there now that, and all the years that I've been smoking, 50 years this year. So I'm like, wait a minute, how did this happen? We're getting to the point where we can get seeds.
Yeah. Who would ever thought any place in this country you could have grown in your backyard without
especially in the desert.
Yeah, well, but I mean, we had to have, when my grandson moved in, we had to have the property inspected, and we're like, yeah, and we got 6 pot plants in the back. Damn phone. Somebody answer that. And they're like, well, okay, it's legal, but only one of you can be using it at a time, and that makes perfect sense to me. I mean, somebody has to be.
Yeah, I agree. I do. Yeah. I agree on that.
So, and that's non-problematic, but I mean, just yeah, we've got pot growing in the backyard. Okay, that's fine. What? I mean, never in my wildest dreams that I would have thought that would have been. And was it Vermont or Connecticut this last week legalized?
I know, it's like, whew, finally, Maryland. A couple of them are now finally going to be
Minnesota or Missouri, one of those M states. Also Minnesota.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's my understanding of Minnesota is that's not a very relaxed group of people. They're a little high strung. So
I don't believe so.
Okay, well, so but it's just kind of all around bizarre. You know, I've been smoking on and off since I was probably 20, a lot of years off. Um, but you know, all of a sudden now it's like it's okay, and it's still kind of freaking me out that this is all acceptable behavior these days.
Believe me, the first time I walked in a dispensary, of course, when it was medical here, I walked in and I'm shaking. I was
Yeah,
literally shaking. And not long after I had started going into the dispensaries here in Needles, there were at that point there were like 8 or 9 of them, and the DEA came in and shut them all down. I mean, it was horrifying. Scared. I was walking out of H Street because Bill, the owner at the time, said, "Get your ass out of here." And I was like, "Okay." I quickly
I,
ran out, and there I had my bag, and they looked right at me, and I'm like, "Oh, okay, now what?" And they pointed to my car and basically said, "Just get going."
yeah, go, go, go.
Yeah, it was a bad scene. It really was.
Ah, never was
Really
nice.
bad.
Well, and now it's just I don't know. I mean, you got you and your partner got a show talking about it and growing, and you know
Yep.
our buddy Brian's got this almost daily thing going on, and it's like, and it's okay. And I'm still kind of stunned. Once it goes national, I think that'll be the big step. Right now,
Oh,
it's once we got enough states and they can make it a national referendum, and but
yeah.
with
Brian and
states,
I were talking this morning about the fact that we're going to see a decline in dispensaries because people are going to start growing their own. I mean, it's obvious. I cannot believe how many people I know personally that are growing right now that never grew in their lives.
well, this is our second year. Our first year was not good, not
Oh
good at
wow.
all. Um, we had some outside in the ground, and the temperatures hit like over 110. They said, no, no, we're not going to do this, man. And they just like went black, shriveled up, and died. And like, well, that was a lot of money down the drain.
I hate to say this, but I could see that happening very easily to a lot of people.
Yeah, yeah. It's well, gardening here is its own skill set, no matter what it is you're putting in the ground.
That's right. And you
And
learn to adapt or it kills it.
yeah, yeah, you've seen our gardens. We have a pretty happy little
Love it.
garden, going
Love
on
it.
out
Love the
here. But
chickens.
oh yeah, hi girls. I know you're not going to hear this, but too bad. Hi girls. They're like the beginning of the day. Um, you get up and the sun is not quite up, and they're like, if you don't open this coop door, we're going to make so much noise, and they will. So
Hey, I
right
love it.
now, my alarm right now is set for 5. Allows me to get up and have a cup of coffee before they get mouthy, and then you let them out. Oh, stop calling me. you know, are you done? Okay. You let them out and you feed them breakfast, and they have the run of the yard. And then sometime around 1 o'clock, we give them sunflower seeds and scratch. When we have it, we give them dried mealworms.
Oh, right. Okay.
Those things are a little pricey. Um, and then in the evening, right now, about 6:30 ish, we buy wild bird seed and we ferment it.
Oh,
And
wow.
fermenting anything um, increases your proteins and your nutrients and all of
Right.
that kind of. And we started doing that, if I remember correctly, in the winter, so they would be a little warmer overnight. We just haven't stopped.
Yeah,
Um,
just
but when we lock them up right now, 8 o'clock ish, the day is kind of over and you're winding down and you've got nothing exciting left to do, but they start out your day, they end your day. And anytime you go in the backyard, they're like, what do you got? What do you got? What do you got? I know you have something for me. What do you got? And I don't have anything for you. And they're like, come on.
Yeah, you still do. I know you do.
But they're great. I don't
Yeah, I
know.
love chickens. We were ducks when I was little. We had a
Oh,
lot of ducks, and duck eggs were a big thing back then.
oh yeah. Um, we looked at ducks, and it's here. I mean, you've got to change that pond every single day
Yeah,
and scrub it. And I'm like, rather not. Thank you.
yeah, yeah. We were lucky. We lived out pretty much out into the country,
Hmm.
and my mom had a small little pond that she
Oh,
put
there you
in,
go.
and that was an awesome thing back then. It really
Yeah.
was. Yeah. Um, but I don't know. But anyway, yeah, you were saying about the group that I have. It's called Granny's Growing Ganja, that we have on Facebook, and then we also have it on YouTube. We're just building that right now. That's going to take a while. Basically, we're two older-ish
Older-ish. I
women
like
that
that.
I hate that. I'm not old. I really am not. In my brain, I'm still that 14-year-old that started smoking pot.
Understood. Yeah.
you know.
Inside it, I'm not old. The rest of this, the body just like disagrees.
Exactly.
Uh-huh.
Exactly. So it just
So, how long have you known your partner?
well, I met Fred October of 1977. We have been together now officially 45 years, and
Goodness.
on Wednesday it'll be 43 years married.
Wow. Congrats.
Thank you. Yeah, long
Congrats.
time. Nobody would have thought that we would have lasted because of him being deaf and me, being me. Uh, it was
Well,
like, oh
well,
my
okay,
God,
there's
these
that.
two,
Yeah.
you're putting them together.
Apparently it works.
Yeah, it did. I honestly can say that I was very lucky to have met him. My entire world changed. And with the deafness, I learned sign language and
Hmm.
became an interpreter. And I was the director of a deaf service in York, Pennsylvania for about 17 years. And then I went on to do mental health with the deaf in Philadelphia area. And um, from there, it was like, I can't do this anymore. And then I went into another job where you're going to love this one. I was HR in a company that hired men and women out of the prison system in Philadelphia.
Okay.
I was the one that got to hire these people. I hired 150 in a 3-day span when I first went in there.
Oh my God.
I met I met people that I never in my life would have met
Hmm.
ever. I mean, awesome and some really bad, really, really
Yeah.
bad ones, really, really bad ones. And I'm like this all the time. I'm friendly and outgoing, and these guys would, call me Miss Teresa, which was funny to me because they were raping huge dudes and and there I was, and they'd come up and try to, say stupid stuff to me, and somehow or another I got through it.
I don't think that's a job I could have done well with. I'm just
Well, it was interesting because you took what I was doing was I was hiring people who were coming out of the prison system and to help them train into a job, lock them back into jobs.
okay.
The people who worked there permanently, full time, were people who were disabled. Anywhere from epilepsy was how the company started. Was the
Hmm.
parents of a young man that could not get a job anywhere, so his dad started in the garage and built a multi-million-dollar company in the Philadelphia area, and deaf, deaf-blind, blind, mentally challenged, all of them. And then I brought in all these ex-cons and put them to work side by side.
Well, anybody that wants to try to integrate from whatever your problem would it be a physical issue, a mental issue, an history, your past history. I mean, you paid your debt to society, and the society should be like, hey, come on,
Yep.
get yourself back to work, get a job, find a place to live, and go on with your day, and we're fine with you.
Yep.
But
And these are good people.
well, yeah, I mean, everybody makes mistakes. Some people just make bigger mistakes.
Yeah, these stories were everything from I was in my backyard and the cops came through and arrested me because I was a black guy and they were looking for a black guy.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of stories, a lot of those horrible women that because their husbands or their boyfriends had drugs and were selling them and they were there and didn't even know what was going on and were arrested.
Whoa.
It was
Yeah.
bad. I mean, there were some stories that it just broke my heart.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let's take a twist back to Granny's growing ganja.
All right.
How did this come about? I mean, how long have you known Teresa?
Well, a little over a year and a half, almost 2 years actually. We had met at one of the functions in town, and we had seen each other on Facebook a few times. And she did one of those. Is that Teresa Deller over there? And with her boyfriend. And he goes, I think that is. And I heard her say it, and I leaned over and I said, yeah, it's me. We started talking, and we instantly became really good friends. Had a lot in common and a lot not in common, which is cool because
Well,
that's
that
the
always
kind of
works better.
friendship
You
I
can't have
like.
everything in common.
Exactly. That's what I want in a friendship. I
Yeah.
want, diversity. I want something different. I don't want that every day, and I don't want somebody that's gonna, just say what I want to hear. I want a friend that's gonna tell me the truth.
Well, and that you seem to be not the kind of person that's going to do that. You're going to say,
Yeah,
you're going to talk
yeah,
shit. If you think shit, you're going to say shit. And if you
exactly.
can't take that, it's time to go talk to somebody else.
Exactly.
And
I totally.
I'm pretty much the same way. I mean, how did I used to say it? If you don't want my opinion, don't ask for it, because I'll give it to you.
Exactly. I
And
totally agree with that.
you may or may not like it, but you did ask for it. I didn't offer it. So sit
Exactly.
back, hold on, here it comes. Because I've
Yeah,
got
and she and I we kept talking about that nobody's out there really representing our age and Facebook or anything like that, talking about ganja and growing it and all the different aspects of it. I'm more on the medical end. I make my own salves and oils and stuff like that. That's all that's in my house is THC and CBD. You go into my medicine cabinet, that's all you're going to find. Um, my kids are like, Mom, I have a headache. And I'm like, get the salve, put it on your neck.
and since you gave me that, I need wood. I have not had a headache yet.
Wow.
So
I'm so glad to hear that.
I'm looking forward to trying it, but I'm not looking forward to the headache. So this is a one or the other.
In the neck area really does help a lot. Seriously.
Well, and we make glycerides and tinctures. I really like a tincture. Well, I have lung issues, and
Uh-huh.
they're bad, but I'm really not supposed to smoke. My doctor is under the impression that nothing should ever go into your lungs except for air. And
Well,
he's like, are you still vaping? And I'm like, yes. He goes, how much nicotine in your vape? I'm like, 0. He's like, all right, fine. Well, I was up for a double lung transplant, and I had to be
oh wow.
6 months nicotine free before they'd even talk to me.
Oh my God.
But all that's gone. I don't know if you heard the story of my misdiagnosis.
I didn't hear all of it. I've heard bits and pieces of
Yeah.
it, but I don't think I've ever heard the whole story.
Well, long story short, not quite 4 years ago, I was diagnosed with a terminal respiratory disease,
So,
which I never had.
Oh my God.
Okay, and we're just going to leave it there. I have a new lung doctor.
Yes.
It's a team. I don't have that disease. I never had it, of course, because, well, you get rid of it in two ways. You get a double lung transplant or you die. Those are your options.
Wow.
And I lived with that over my head for a very long time. But, I have emphysema. Okay, fine. I smoked for way too many years. I have COPD. Anybody in our age range that doesn't? Because I don't know of any. And, now they just recently gave me the sleep apnea, which once they
Right.
explained all that to me, I'm like, that explains so much of what's going on. But yeah, that was all good. But the tincture, I like them because they're fast.
Yeah.
You put it under your tongue, and within 30 seconds, you're feeling it. And you're
Now, are
good.
yours with alcohol in?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Another fun side story. Accepting the tinctures, I'm pushing. I just passed 33 years sober.
Wow, that's fabulous.
So, with the exception of the tinctures, I have no alcohol, but
Wow.
we make.
For me, it was 1988.
Um, I don't remember what year it was, but it was a very bad year, and the 3 years before that are kind of blank.
Wow.
I don't remember much of it, but
Mine was only Saturday and Friday. Well, Friday night and Saturday nights. I had a gay brother-in-law, and we would go to the gay bars because that was the only place my husband would accept me going out and dancing at that time. So it was like, all right, you can go to the gay bars. I don't care. So I would go with him, and every Friday night get sloshed, really, really, really stupidly sloshed. And the last night was Halloween night, 1988. Remember it very well because I fell down a flight of 12 steps. I had no idea we're there.
Oh my.
Yeah, I skinned up my knees, and I was a mess. So um, I at that point I woke up the next morning and I vowed that I would never drink again. And on occasion I've had a couple sips out of a beer, but only because my father, when he passed away, one of the things he had asked before he passed was that we pop open a beer and have a beer in his honor whenever he passed.
Okay.
So my brother and I and my husband sat, and I took one sip. That
Hmm.
was all I had. But
No.
I've always been, I've cannabis, like I said, when I was 14, I would have never continued in school. At 14, I was ready to walk.
Mm.
I was ready to walk. And an older friend of mine, her brother, recognized it. And he said, come on down. And he got me high. And I knew, I just instinct told me that this was what I needed and this is going to help me get through. And I ended up graduating. I didn't graduate with honors,
Oh,
needless
well,
to say, but I
hmm.
graduated. I mean, that was something. So I went on and started working at a store called Penn Supreme, which was in Pennsylvania, right down the street from my mom and dad. And this guy walked in, and I looked at him and saw him go by, and I saw his butt go by, and I turned to the girl that was working with me, and I said, because it was my first night, um, I said, "That's the guy I'm going to marry," and she goes, "You are not." And I said, "Why?" And she goes, "He's deaf." I said, "I don't care what he is. I'm going to marry him." And so,
Yeah, you caught a bit of the me and Juanita meeting over the free internet thing, and that's yeah, and until I'm madly in love with this woman, and I have never seen her.
oh wow,
When she came to meet me in Ohio, was the first time I had ever saw her, and it was a small airport, Vienna, Ohio, and you know, the plane's supposed to be here. There's no planes landing. I was up watching, on the balcony, and I go down and I'm walking through the airport, and I'm like, that's her. And it was.
Wow.
And but up until that moment, I had no idea what she even looked like. Kind of cool.
Yeah,
I've
your
had
heart
a
knew.
yeah, I've had a kind of weird life, but I'm happy. I think that's the majority of all of it. If you're happy and you enjoy what you're doing in your day and your friends, and I've got a lot of good friends still back in Ohio, and some of them still kind of um well, you've been out there for 26 years. I guess you're gonna stay, huh? And I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna stay.
I get the same thing with mine. It's 15 for us, and they're all like, we don't get it. And I'm like, until you come see me, you're never gonna.
Well, and the people on the BBS were telling me how ugly and desolate the area was here. It's just so it's hideously ugly, and I'm like, I got out here, and I'm like, oh, this is gorgeous. I mean, nature has to literally bust ass to survive in these parts. I
Oh my
mean,
God.
no wimp animals, no wimp plants, and lastly, no wimp people. But I mean, you gotta want to be here, or I mean, you're just not gonna. No.
Yeah, my kids came the first year that they came out in, I think it was July, and it was
No.
117 the day they arrived in Las Vegas. And
Uh
I
huh.
was like, and they didn't tell us that they were coming. They just came, and I was like, they came to the door and knocked, and I'm like, who is at our door? We can't even see out because, we have
Yeah.
everything darkened. And open the door, and they're my kids, and I'm like, uh, but my kids were not born by me. We met our son first. His name is Gerard. Gerard is originally from Haiti.
Okay.
Uh, I'm very different. I have nobody in my house and the normal, whatever normal is.
Yeah, whatever that is.
Um, he came to America whenever they were offering 15 of the South American countries their students to come and go to college for 2 years.
Mm,
So he came over and they needed host families for these kids.
sure.
Well, they didn't know many that had sign language, they didn't. So we met him, and I mean, it was instant. I knew, here I am, this little short, gray-haired woman, and there he is, 6'3", something like that, very dark, and very deaf, and just very proud guy. And both my husband and I are shorter, so it's funny when we walk together. But instant, it was instant. And then a couple years later, I met my daughter through Big Brothers Big Sisters. I became a big sisters years ago, and had several little sisters through the year. Well, she came in one day where I was working at the time as mental health coordinator, um, and there she was, deaf blind.
Oh,
Walked in, and I'm like, I've got to have her in my life. I just knew from the moment I laid eyes on her that she was mine. I don't know how to explain it other than she was mine. Um, and her pastor was deaf, came to me and said that her mom had gone to Puerto Rico and left her there with her father, and she didn't have any female influence. She was like 14 at the time. And I said, okay, cool. I'll be her big sister. Within a couple weeks, she asked me if she could call me mom.
mm,
So
okay.
it was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Ball my eyes out, and it's like, yeah. I said, I knew that was going to happen. And she's like, what do you mean? And I said, I just knew. I said, I said, I love you. I knew the moment I laid eyes on you that I was supposed to be in your life. So, and since then, I've become friends with her dad and with her mom. Her mom came back into her life whenever she married my son.
Wow.
Yeah, they married each other. I'm telling you, I
How
couldn't
did
be
I
any
walk
more
into the
different.
middle of a Hallmark movie? I mean,
It was amazing. I mean, I knew when I met her that I had to keep her away from him. I just knew. I just knew. So I did. So until she was 18 years old, she finally said, I want to meet my brother. And
Mhm.
I'm like, all right. So we went to a Ruby Tuesdays, and my husband had him and I had her, and they saw each other, and just like the birds and the bees and all that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
you could see it. I mean, it was like boom. And I said, oh no, I was right. And they got married a year after they met each other.
Oh, geez.
And they stayed married for 13, 14 years, and now they're divorced, but they
Mm.
are best friends.
Oh, that's good.
Um, which is awesome that they're still in touch, and I don't have to worry about, feelings anymore like I
Hmm.
used to. One would come and say, Mom, and the other would come to me and say, Mom, and I'd be like, I'm not in the middle.
You ain't putting me there.
Can't put me there. I have two really great kids. He's studying right now to be a chef. He's changed his vocation a couple times because he's not sure what he wants. He never had this many opportunities in Haiti.
Yeah.
I was also lucky enough to be the interpreter for him when he was became a citizen in DC, and the great big courtrooms, and just like they
Mm.
show on TV,
Hmm.
great big huge things. They didn't have an interpreter for him, so I had to do it, um, which was amazing. Um, I've had an extraordinary, different kind of life, that's for sure.
Well, you can have an interesting life, you can have a boring life. I've gone through periods when a boring life isn't such a bad thing. I'm kind of, I don't want to say boring. That's maybe not the right word. Um, our life right now is rather sedate. It's quiet. We've got,
Right.
me and Juanita in the gardens and chickens and Brian, and we are not exciting people. We don't do much. We mostly stay at home. Um, and most of my life before Juanita, I was like out and doing and this and here, and then I just kind of settled into like the home life and quiet, and I can't work right now because of these damned lungs.
Right.
So we're working with that, and I'm playing a little bit with Merlin Public Media, but my day out is Sunday morning. I live stream for the Unity Spiritual Center. That's my day out. I mean,
That's cool.
other than that, occasional run to the store. I don't go anywhere really. Um, Now I'm told, and I'm not trying to get my hopes up, but I'm told once I get this CPAP that I will be out and
Oh.
about and doing a bunch more stuff.
Oh, I believe that's going to happen. Make sure, like I told you, keep up on that, because I have a friend that took her husband a year. It was actually Teresa that Joe wasn't able to get his. They kept putting it off, putting it off, putting it off, and finally she just started raising heck, and they finally said, "Okay," they sent it to him.
Well, I'm gonna give him like 2 weeks from the day after the prescription. Then I'm going to
Okay,
call my insurance company, and the first thing I'm going to say is, did they write a script for this?
right, yeah,
Because my previous doctor was telling me, writing for the script for this, and we're going to do that, and you call the hospital and say, well, when is this test scheduled that doctor told me about? They're like, we haven't heard from him. I went through the last year with my last doctor was pretty much hell, and ending with, no, you don't have that, and I'm like, something's wrong here, doc, because we both know there's only two ways to get rid of it. I'm not dead, and these are my original lungs. But there's that. But yeah, it's a quiet life. When I get done here, I have to finish putting together an arbor in the backyard, and another one. We've got one, two, three up now, one more going up, and that'll be the end of the arbors for the year.
Love it.
And I'm not even sure what
Your
we're putting on
artichokes blew me away. Your artichokes. I just
I,
walking up there and seeing how huge they were.
I've never seen them growing before,
Oh my
and
God.
it just is absolutely magnificent plant. It looks like something out of the dinosaur eras. It just looks ancient. Like, how is this thing still alive? But they're glorious. We've got, well, you saw a few more in the backyard that aren't quite as old as that, but yep, we got
I
artichokes.
love seeing that kind of stuff. When we had a house, I had all kinds of gardens. Strawberries were my big thing. I had a great big huge strawberry patch, and I made strawberry jelly for everybody and their brothers.
We tried strawberries here, didn't work real well. We tried grapes here, didn't work. And I know people that, do it in Phoenix and Tucson and whatever, but they didn't work out good for us. There's a few things
Yeah.
we tried to grow that we just can't, we have a real tough time with mints for some reason, which is okay by me because it's mint. Pass, thank you. But that's it's a simple, quiet life. And like I said, there's still people back home like, so you're staying. I'm like, it's been a quarter of a century plus. What do you think? Well, it's about 10 years or so, and my best friend is like, I guess you're staying, huh? And I'm like, yeah. Yeah, I guess I am. He's like, all right. And he doesn't like to fly.
Oh yeah.
So one of these days he's gonna pull what your kids pull, and he's gonna be knocking on my door, and I'm like, the hell are you doing here? And he'll have driven the entire way.
We've never flown either. We're drivers. We've gone back and forth. I think we've counted 14 times back across the United States. Um, at one point, we had our great big dually and fifth wheel, but now we live in the fifth wheel and got rid of the dually, and now we just have a little Versa so that we can actually afford the gas.
That I understand.
And we fell in love with this area. Well, actually, we came out in '02 the first time, and worked at the KOA. And my boss back in Philadelphia called and begged me to come back because it's hard to find people who know sign language and at the
Yeah.
skill level that I was. Um, and I was like, no, no, I'm not coming back. And my husband's like, well, and the boss says, I'll give you 10,000 more. And I was like, okay.
Yeah. Give me some time to pass.
Yeah, I was like, all
Yeah.
right, what the heck? But I'm glad we went back because I learned a lot of new things when I was back. But then when we came back out here, things had changed here, which was a good thing because of the cannabis and all of
Mm-hmm.
that was, even though it was legal, even when we were here the first time, which we had no clue, no clue, no clue. So sad, so sad. But that was the other reason we left was because we didn't know anybody out here.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
that's
but when we came back, it was like, oh my God, so wonderful.
well, and I mean, how many places can you live where 60 degrees is cold?
Yeah,
I
where can you go to live? It's 125 and sometimes be Death Valley.
Yeah, yeah, well, there's good and bad with everything.
I love that. I'm sorry, but you know what? I wear that as a badge of honor when I call back east and I say, "Guess what the temperature is today?" And my mother-in-law will go, "I have no idea. I just know I would be melting."
Mhm. Well, I've
But we love it.
noticed as I've gotten a bit older that my heat tolerance is dropping a bit. I used to be, it's 115. I'm gonna go work in the yard, and now it's 110, and I'll go out there for 15 minutes, and I'm coming in and cooling my ass down, and then I'll go back out. But last summer was particularly unusual. I never saw 120 once last summer, the whole summer.
That's right.
And I hadn't seen that in the whole 25, 26 years I've been out here. I've never seen it not do that.
That
So,
was amazing.
and well, look at it now. What is it out there? It's 92.
This is amazing. Honestly,
It's
I mean, come on.
weird.
Yeah, that's weird. My husband and I talk about that all the time, but it's that weird. Isn't this an El Nino year? I
Yeah.
think it's supposed to, that makes a difference too.
Well, an old farmer said that this was going to be an extraordinarily hot summer.
Yep.
And I'm like, it better hurry up because, it's May. We should be doing 110 right now.
Yeah.
No problem.
We
But,
have snowbirds still here. I mean, they
yeah,
never, ever, ever stay this late.
no,
Never. I mean, are always gone in the middle of April.
yeah, it's the great exodus. I mean,
Yeah. It's like, bye, hurry,
uh,
leave.
I used to do a bit of work with a local community theater group, and the depending on the year, they try and get the last show in. I believe it's like early April because the last of the snowbirds. Because, well, I don't know. This isn't too much of an arts loving kind of area, really. I mean, I worked with three, at least three community theater projects, and only one ever got off the
Oh,
ground.
wow.
Only one ever got. Well, I'm a theater guy from way back. I mean,
Uh,
I freshman year of high school, I'm the smallest kid in the school, and we are doing Arsenic and Old Lace. And
Whoa.
two of my upperclassmen friends are like, "Hey man, we need a body that we can carry around." So I was both Hodgkins and Spinelzo. I changed like a jacket or something, but I was the two dead bodies in Arsenic and Old Lace. And I'm laying there in the window seat during rehearsal, looking up at, what are those things? They're kind of like hot and bright and kind of cool looking. And after that show, I hit the school library and the public library and dug up everything I could find on stage lighting. And by my junior year in high school, I was running the student tech for the high school.
Oh, wow.
And then I went on to college to study theater, and life and alcohol and a couple other things got in the way, and I never finished. But I've been doing lighting in the area now since I got here, community theaters, concerts, and I did
Well,
the.
how did you meet Brian?
I'm not honestly sure. It was through film and video.
I would
I
think.
know he's shot some stuff for me, and I've shot some stuff for him, but as to when we actually met or how, I'm not sure. No, I'm not sure. But and we were in touch on and off, and I talk to him now more since he started the Daily Dank and all of this fun
I love
stuff
that show.
than I have in many years before. Well, um I have to drive my grandson to school in the morning.
Right.
So we leave here at, go figure, 7:10.
Of course.
So I drive him to school. I come back. I grab a cup of coffee and I sit down and catch part of the show. And now that it's warming up earlier, I often sneak out to get to the gardens. Yeah, gardens and chickens and Juanita. I mean, and Brian. That's the whole day.
Okay. I know. I get up and I walk in the morning and um, just to help out around here, I water the oleanders and the trees and stuff. Um, and every morning it's like I have to have it with me so I can hear him. If I can't be on with the chat, I want to at least be able to hear what he has to say because a
Mhm.
lot of times it's just hysterical. He comes across so funny at times. It's just oh my God, amazing. And the stuff that he knows and the people that he's met
Yeah.
and I just um, incredible. When I met him, and I don't know, it was an instant rapport with him also. Um, it just, and that was back when he was still working with the other person,
Yes.
um, who will remain unnamed.
Uh-huh. I have a
But yeah,
list of those myself.
do you?
Yeah, former partners. In fact, one is so well loved that within the house here, at least, he's referred to as Voldemort.
Whoa, there you are, bad.
And that's all the clues anybody's going to get about who that is. So
Right.
don't even try me.
Don't even try it.
No, I went from one group of partners to another group of partners to let's see what I can do by myself to the lungs are going to shit. And oh, yeah, here's COVID.
Yeah, let me throw that in.
And, in 40 minutes, one morning, afternoon, all of my work that was planned for the next 4 months canceled. And, I get it. I get it, but damn.
Yeah, like I
and
didn't want it to end that way.
and in the end it was, you know, I dragged it on probably longer than I should have. Hard to give up on a dream. Um, but in the end, between nobody doing any kind of events and not being able to move the gear around, okay, fine, we're closing it down.
Right.
Uh, that closed down. I was some places being pissed off and depressed for a little while, and then one day I'm like, I used to work with a group of people that did a radio station. I wonder how hard it can be. And I went into that, and I started Merlin Public Media as classical music and talk shows.
Right.
Then I stepped up to a server that paid royalties on the music that I played, and the dream was to be 6 or 7 genre stations, no advertising, just sponsorships. So once every couple of hours, you'd hear something like you're listening to Merlin Public Media's all country station brought to you by. Well, never quite made it. I haven't given up. I'm doing this now, and this is fun. And this was actually Talking Shit with Merlin was the best part of the whole damn project. It really was, and I had the idea and I sat on it for like 5 months
Oh
because
wow.
I wanted the first guest to be my brother.
That's nice. I love that.
My brother is a sports broadcaster, radio station kind of guy back in Ohio, and
Oh, cool.
he works for a college and a radio station, and him and his friends have a internet sports based radio station which I don't listen to because look at Do I look like a sports kind of guy?
Actually, no.
The last football game I watched was in November 1976,
Whoa, dude.
and I was watching that game because I was in the marching band and waiting to go on and perform.
Oh, that's the only reason, huh?
Well, in my town, for a while, there was a saying that football is what they do before and after the band plays. For a number of years, the band challenged the football team to a scrimmage before the season started. And after the team getting the butt kicked several years in a row, the coach said, "No more. We ain't doing this no more."
That's hysterical, though.
Well, yeah, the band was the group to be a part of in my school. Nobody picked on the band kids except the upper class band kids. If you messed with a band kid, it wasn't pretty. So, I mean, it was, and, our director, our high school director, Mr. Wherein, Ducky, he had basically one rule: whatever you do, don't lie to me. Tell me the truth, no matter what it is, and we'll figure out how to deal with it. Don't lie to me. And heck of a great guy. Heck of a great guy. But
Wow.
yes, I was a band nerd. Yep.
I was ahead. The movie Richmond High where they fall out of the van where they're all
Yeah.
smoking and shit. I did that. I did that.
And believe it or not,
But
I was the straight-laced kid that through most of high school wore a cross about yay big and carried a Bible around. And in my speech classes, I gave sermons, and I hit college, and I'd already dropped the religion before college, but at that point in time, life got to be fun. Oh, look,
yeah,
there's beer. Oh, look, there's pot. So,
yeah, I do know.
I suspect you do.
Yeah, it's been a hell of a ride. And that's why with that friend passing away this past weekend,
Yeah.
it's really hard because I just think of how many people I've known that haven't made it past their 20s, their 30s, their 40s, their 50s, and now I'm 63, and I look back and I think to myself, oh my God, all these people. And now this young man, 35 years old, not
Hmm.
gonna, and he was a heroin addict for years, and he quit. He actually changed his entire life. He had a really good girl. They had bought a house. He was into snakes, so he had like 20 different
Oh,
snakes.
geez.
The first time I went into his house, I told him, I said, honestly, I'm not sure I can stay. And he was so gentle, and they were all okay, kept him away from me that I didn't have to look at him. But he was a good kid, and I just think about all that kind of stuff, and then I realize, I'm here, still here
Yeah.
for a reason.
Right.
And the older we get, the more we need to share what we know.
And that's so true. And there's just some bizarre skills are disappearing, like cooking. I go to the grocery store and I see all this pre-prepared crap.
Oh God,
Um,
no. Yeah.
you go into the produce department and everything's chopped for you. Buy a knife. Yeah. And I cooked and baked professionally for a number of years, but
Oh wow.
the baking was the best part. But
Oh, I love bacon.
and Juanita's a great cook.
Is she?
And Brian
I
was
had a feeling.
Brian is learning. My mother-in-law, just great cook. I mean, we had, okay, so I was Midwest style, leaning a little fancy. Juanita's mom, who was also Juanita, was like Iowa Midwest, and then Juanita was like California with a side of Italian.
Oh, wow.
So, well, her ex was Italian, but
Oh,
we we all three cooked. You know, mom's been gone for, I don't know, 10 or 11 years, Juanita's mom, but
oh.
we all cooked and we ate well. Um, they had to teach me that I was no longer in a restaurant where I could put all my stuff down and walk away and someone's going to clean up after me. I fought that very hard. I
I
lost.
bet.
I seriously lost. But more often than not, we cook from scratch. I mean,
That's us.
dinner. I mean, I go and
We're
chop
creatures of habit.
vegetables, chopped
We're
fruit.
very
I mean,
creatures of habit.
just buy a knife, cut up your own watermelon. I mean,
Yep.
and save a fortune.
I go to that farmer's market that's off of Courtright. Off of 95. There's a farm that whenever you're going 95 towards Needles,
Okay.
at the AM PM, if you make a right back there's a farm way back in.
Okay.
And she grows everything there.
Okay, I'm gonna have to find that place.
Yeah, Wednesdays and Saturdays. She's open right now from 8 until 12.
Mm-hmm.
I know because I go all the time. That's where I get my strawberries and stuff. Because now I think she brings in some of her vegetables. She does bring in, but the majority of them, she grows herself.
Wow.
Yeah, I've known her for quite a few years. I found her just by chance. So
What's the name of it? Excuse me.
it's a triple tree farm. I'll make sure I'll send you the information though.
Okay, you send that, and then I will put the link in with this video because local farmers doing well. I mean, I'm going to support the heck out of them because
Yep, I totally agree with you.
I can't grow everything, and there's some things that I just can't make grow no matter how hard I try. I mean,
Right.
so yeah, farming out here. I mean, it's either a special breed of wisdom or a special breed of stupid. One or the other.
I'll tell you, her whole family, her kids. I watch her kids take a piece of broccoli right off of the stalk and eat it. That's how she's raised her children.
That's what we do when the broccoli's out there. We call it grazing. Out there, and it's like the only thing to graze on right now.
Yep.
Tomatoes here. The broccoli is
your
done.
Tomatoes. Oh my gosh, your tomatoes. Oh, I'm telling you, so sweet. Fred and I both were just amazed. They went on our salads the past couple of nights, and oh man, I'm telling you, excellent.
I'm glad you like them.
Nina knows her stuff too.
And that's pretty much it, right? I mean, lots of things are starting to grow now. The melons and the okra. We had, I don't know if it was last year or the year before, we grew the okra for the chickens because only thing we ever knew was cooked okra, and it's this slimy ball of yuck.
Yeah.
And then somebody's walking down the street and like, wow, you got okra. Can I have some? Yeah, sure. Help yourself. Busted it off. Started chewing on it raw. And we're like, and it's delicious.
Wow.
Don't cook that shit. Eat it raw. It's amazing.
I had no clue.
Neither did we. So I can't even remember who it was, but someone that, walks in the mornings, up here all the time. And we're like, you can do that? And he's going, yeah, you can do that. Okay. So
I
yeah,
took
we're going north.
classes in the years. I had taken fortune classes quite a few times. Did one in Philadelphia, downtown in the city.
Wow.
Took us around and showed us where you could forge in the city.
Wow.
Yeah, that was freaking amazing. I mean, but if cities would just do better and plant fruit trees and things like that, you know.
Here in this area, any tree. I don't care what it is. Plant a damn tree.
Yep.
Um, you watch if you watch the skies, you'll see the weather fronts come in to the bowl that Bullhead City is in and go right around it.
Yep.
And if you planted a few 100,000 or 1,000 trees or whatever, and you cool the ground here,
Oh my
you know,
gosh.
people told me before I moved here, but there used to be monsoons and they used to dump
Oh yeah.
at approximately 4 p.m. every
Yep.
day. And you've got an urban heat island here. The heat is rising, it's making a funnel.
Yep.
And the weather goes around us. And you just gotta cool the ground down. And
I agree.
because I mean watering for a garden here is expensive.
Extremely.
it,
Unless you
it,
have your
it
own
is.
well.
And you learn to be water wise with your garden watering, but still it's expensive. And I grew up Ohio, Pennsylvania, where the gods just pour water on you all the time because they like
All the
you.
time. And they had a heart attack if it didn't rain.
Oh yeah. It hasn't rained in 12 days. I'm gonna have to
Oh my
water my
God.
garden.
Yeah.
Oh, get the hose out. And I'm like, it hasn't rained in 16 weeks, you
Yeah.
know, and the hose is already out.
Yeah.
Oh, I knew this was going to be fun. I just knew this
I,
was going to be fun. I'm
I really enjoy talking with you, dude. I really, really do.
having such a great time. One of the days I'm going to cut that hair off. No, I'm not. I just threatened it. I just threatened it. I'm really not.
I
I
keep
used
saying it to mine too. It's like, oh, and then I could look in the mirror and I say to my husband, "Will you cut it?" And then he goes, "Really? You really want to do it?" And I go, "No."
when I
I
first
relate.
got here, I could sit on my hair.
So could I. Oh my God! But that was way long before that.
Um,
When I was a
96 I got
redhead.
here.
Oh wow.
Um, but my first summer, I'm like, I'm cutting it off. I'm cutting it off. And one is like, and I'm like, cut my hair. She's like, no, no, I'm cutting it off. We cut my hair. No, I'm not doing it. So one day I just got up and I wrapped it up in a ponytail and I got a pair of scissors and I cut it off. And I said, will you cut my hair now? She goes, okay. I sent the ponytail back to Ohio to my mother.
Oh wow.
And she's like, whose hair did you send me? Because I know it's not yours.
Oh,
I'm like, and until the next time I went out to visit, she did not believe that was my hair.
that is amazing.
It was probably the
I
only
sold mine.
um she was given instructions that once she got done like looking at it to and I researched. I've done it a few times where I've donated my hair.
Yeah, so have I.
But I dug into, I don't mind supporting a charity so long as the charity is doing what they tell me they say they're doing.
Exactly.
Just like anybody else. I don't judge a person on religion as long as you act like what you claim to be. That's the end
Right
of
on.
my discussion. Um, oh, and that's the two rules here. We don't do religion and politics. Okay, never mind. I'm not going to edit that. Well, that's my two rules: is no religion and no politics.
I'm the same
Um,
way.
and I just broke them.
But it's okay.
I will not edit that out. I'm not perfect, people. Um, and I don't
That's good
even
to
know.
know.
Well, I don't even know what Juanita is. Ask her; she'll tell you.
Oh,
She is
I
perfect,
really like her.
and me too. I've been blessed to know two perfect people in my life, my wife and my father.
Oh,
Dad would, if he was still with us, he would say, yes, of course I'm perfect.
one of them, huh?
Yeah. And my mother would mumble something under her breath. And, but yeah, no, Juanita, yeah. I haven't seen her make too many mistakes, so I'm going to kind of let her go with that perfect. And she's going to be listening to this. So yes, honey. She commented when I started doing the show again. She said something to the effect of, it sounds like I'm eavesdropping on a private conversation.
Oh, that's interesting.
And I said, that's perfect. That's
Yeah.
absolutely perfect. That because, you know, the show's not, what do you want to talk about? Whatever comes up. The show's not about anything. It's not
I
about
love that.
anything at all. It just kind of happens. It's organic. You know, where it starts, and where it ends, and that's that. And people are like, well, what are we going to talk about? I'm like, whatever. Well, no, you gotta. I'm like, no, this isn't what it's about. It's talking shit. It's not shit talking.
Right.
It's talking shit. And it's just, you know, the first new episode was my friend Sam. He's a DJ in DC. And it was an hour and 40 some minutes
Wow.
of just talking shit.
Talking shit.
And you know, he's great, and he's like, I think him and Brian would really probably hit it off. I mean, he's there. Sam was also a movie TV buff and
Wow.
music. He just, you know, I mean, he does shows on a website called MixLR, and it's for DJ streaming. And he will play the damnedest combination of stuff that should not work, and he makes it work.
Oh, wow.
It'll go from a comedy sketch to heavy metal to some kind of country bluesy shit, and somehow it works. He's epic.
I love it.
I hope you're listening, Sam. Here's a shout out to you, man. But yeah, good guy. But I am winding down, and I am going to need to grab some oxygen. And I really hate to cut this short, but I'm kind of gonna have to. We should do it again. And when Teresa is back in town, I want to do a whole show talking about grannies growing ganja. Because
That
as
would
soon
be
as I
awesome.
saw that name, I'm like, perfect. The name is
Thank you.
perfect. There's very few perfect names out there. That is one of them.
Oh, well, thank you. We appreciate that very much.
You have a wonderful night. I'm going to wrap this up and find my oxygen and chill out for a little bit.
All right. Well, thank you very much for having me, and peace out, dude.
Thank you. You have a great day.
You too.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.